Viva, sir.
Viva part this Saturday morning session. We are having the review with for MTech students. Possible afternoon.
Saturday is a working day. We have Friday timetable.
Oh, that is Friday timetable. No? Okay. So tomorrow is a Thursday. So tomorrow Thursday evening, 4 to 5, we can take one set. The remaining, the Friday evening also we can have one set. Like evening 4 to 5, in that time we can finish it. Before this Saturday, we will complete the Viva part. Is that okay to all of you? Hello? Hope I am audible to everyone. Is my voice clear? So every day at least 6 or 7 students we can handle. I think around 10 to 12 students are there, the remaining pending. So within 2-3 days we can finish it. It's possible. So I need to complete for the other finalists also for Viva. That I'm going to take it after the next week. Because for you the working day is over maybe this week end. So I will complete for you first.
Sir, still 25 students are there, sir.
25 is pending, huh?
Yes, sir. Until
Is
40 it's over, sir. We have 62.
45 I think I have completed.
Okay,
So I
sir.
have completed only 42. Huh? Okay,
So you
I will look
completed
at
only 40, sir.
Okay, so then we will take it the time if required on Sunday for a pending students. There is no other go. If I am making you free, then you can start preparing for your other exams and all those. So on Sunday, I will try to avoid take the Viva. We will see. Don't worry about this Viva. This Viva it's my responsibility because I need to. I'm the in charge, timetable in charge also here. Lot of parallel things are going. We are not getting enough time to do even the regular assigned tasks. Many overlapping. Okay. We feel sorry for that inconveniences caused because of overlapping certain things. There is no other go. Normally, when you come here for evaluation in the exam, which is written in pen and paper, so all these evaluations will be done according to our the free time. Whenever we are having the time period, periodical 1, periodical 2 exams, the evaluations will be done in a leisure manner. In the sense, we can spend time there. But here it's a one-to-one. That's a major issue which currently we are facing. Okay, we'll see that. Yes. Now I'm opening the PPT. Please let me know, is it visible to everyone? So, do you have any doubts here on the topic what we discussed yesterday's? ARP, address resolution protocol. How the address resolution happens? Anybody? Any queries on this?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm explaining the same thing for a minute. A sender A wants to communicate the information to B. A wants to send to B. So A IP address is all ones. With MAC address is this. So it need to communicate to the other B. So source IP address, destination IP address is known. So with that source and destination IP address, a packet has to reach to this particular point. With that intention, the sender A is sending a packet. But when it is passing the information, only the IP address is known. But when it is coming to the case of MAC address, immediately to reach to this particular IP address, which are all the hardwares are available intermediately. That hardware specific related things is the destination MAC address. It has to reach over here, the 74. You see here, E6, E900, the MAC address of this one. You see, this is the MAC address. Sorry, MAC address. So intermediately, to reach to this particular destination, what all the other hardwares are available? Yeah, one hardware is this. So the MAC address, the source MAC address and the destination MAC address actually is being given like that. So the packet will come here initially. But still it has the destination IP address is all 2222. After reaching here, what happens? Still the source IP address and destination IP address is being kept. Source IP address, destination IP address is still the same. Then from here, when it is passing from MAC address, this 1A, you see here, 1A23. So this router is sending that packet to the destination. So the destination IP MAC address is 49. So it is a hardware to hardware specific communication. So the MAC actually is a helping for that. But that IP address, it is giving the like we can take we want to send one postal, one parcel. That parcel starting address, from address to address we used to mention. If you add the additional information saying that this parcel has to be taken only through a vehicle, especially in India Post, the vehicle number, that is the vehicle number, it has to be taken through only that particular vehicle. If we give the specific information like that, actually the MAC is performing that. Okay, if you understood this, the AARP is very nice, it's very simple. So this way the packet is coming here, then it is destination, it is reaching, then it is understanding. Then after reaching to the network layer, the bundle has been given to the processing, reaching to the network layer. After the network layer, the transport layer, what we studied, you please recollect that all the algorithm part which we have studied there, a packet will be interpreted in the network layer TCP. There only it will come to know whether the packet has been received successfully with the data or not. If there is any issue on that, the opening of a packet, if anything got damaged or not, then once again the query will go to the destination. Out of 100 packets which you have transmitted, these are all the packet numbers was not received successfully. That initiation was done from the destination side. So as per the logic which we discussed, RDT 3.0, and what is the meaning of the pipelining? When we increase the more pipelining, simultaneous, we need not to wait for a RDT for each packet, send n packets consecutively, then receive the acknowledgements consecutively. In case of any loss in intermediate, then from there the sender has to retransmit. In that way already we discussed. So then we started discussion on topologies. I was talking about bus topology, star topology. Please remember that bus, star, mesh, all these topologies are something related to a physical existence of connecting a hardware. Bus means, yes, there is a coaxial cable, bus is available. Star means there is the connectivity, physical cable connectivity is available there. It's called a star topology. And mesh topology means all devices will get connected. That's called mesh topology. Each computer will have a connection with all. So in that way, we can talk about mesh. So this is about the Ethernet frame. So the frame structure, you can see that which I have discussed earlier, the CRC, cyclic redundant check, the data, it's called a payload, actual information which we are sending. What is the type, source address, destination address, some preamble. The preamble is actually 7 bytes with a pattern of followed by 1 byte with another pattern used to synchronize the receiver sender clock rates. So synchronization is another important parameter. The receiver may not be aware because the receiver is receiving the sequence consecutively at binary streams. From the received sequence of binary bits, it must recognize that, okay, this is the starting point of the packet or frame. From that only it can easily understand. If there is any small error happens in the synchronization, the total interpretation on the data will get failed. Okay. So which already I was talking about, the destination MAC address, unreliable and connectionless. Here also connectionless, no handshaking between sending and receiving NIC. NIC here, interface card. Receiving NIC does not send acknowledges and acknowledges, which we studied in the transport layer. So Ethernet's MAC protocol unslotted CSMA CD with the binary backoff. So lot of algorithms is being implemented everywhere in each layer, which you see the logic, the concept which is realized over there, we must be aware of. Initially, in the macro level, we have to visualize. Please don't get confusion with the content what we studied in one layer, transport layer. Okay, how the MAC layer has, RDT has been implemented there. How all these things belongs to that layer to layer. Actually, we have to interpret. And the network layer, when it comes to the network layer, what happens? Source to the destination IP addresses, and in that way we have to visualize. Already I told, from the application layer, when one letter which is written, paper letter, assume, when it is coming down to the physical layer, one letter will be covered with one wrapper. That coverage will happen in the transport layer, assume. The letter, if it is bigger in size, it will be cut as a small pieces. Then small wrappers will be put over there in the transport layer. Like that we can. So when it is coming down from the transport layer to the next down layer, the another wrapper is also being added. Add another wrapper. Like that things will happen. It will move to, it will propagate from the application layer to the destination layers. Then intermediately there are switches. The switches is having a very specific role, just irrespective of the data, whatever it may be, the data is available inside. It will expect only switch, will see only the MAC address information, and router will have the information on what is the IP address, source and the destination IP address, and it will calculate the shortest path and all those things, which based on updation of forwarding table, routing table, all those. So many different Ethernet standards are available, common MAC protocol format, different speeds, 2 Mbps, 10 Mbps. So here I want to talk about one point is called 10 bar, 10 bar, 100 bar, 1000, which you normally you can see that 1 Gbps Ethernet. That means actually it talks about the in the layer of link and physical layer level. So currently in my laptop, it all of the recent laptops are having 1 Gbps, 1000 Mbps, 10 Mbps, 100 Mbps, 1000. So this is the latest the maximum speed of possible through that particular LAN port. So when it is passing through a channel, the different channels is with a wired medium. If it is a wired medium, fiber or a coaxial cable is was used for communication. So for a copper twisted pair, the MAC protocol and frame format 100 base, you can see that 100 base, TX base, T2, T4, all those things. This T2, T4, if you go and see the protocol, MAC protocol structure, it will have the detailed information. At present, we need not to go for that. The link layer switches. The link layer device takes an active role the Ethernet switch. Already I gave enough information during our general discussion. So the meaning of the switches here, which has to perform the communication between that device to the next device, when it has to be, when it should do the communication. Carrier sense, multiple access, carrier sensing. If somebody is communicating, if somebody is using the channel, this device should not communicate anything. Carrier sense, multiple access. /CD, collision detection. Collision detection. If the collision is detected, immediately it has to stop its transmission. That's the one technique. It's a post event, the post failure. When the problem occurs, afterwards, how to react, how to respond. That's a technique is called CSMA-CD. CSMA-CA, carrier sense multiple access, CA. Collision avoidance. So the algorithms must take care. Unnecessarily, the MAC layer should not communicate the information to the channel, but at the same time, it has to wait for enough time for making avoidance of the collisions. So that's a technique. Then it's a plug and play and self-learning. The switch, the multiple simultaneous transmission, the duplex. The Ethernet protocols used on each incoming link, but no collisions. The full duplex. Full duplex means so which can transmit both A to B and B to A. It is possible simultaneously if we can do the operations. So then it's called a full duplex. Here that same explanation was given. So I'm skipping here. It's for a self-learning. So we'll move on to the forwarding example, how the packets. I can show you some demo here. How does a switch know A dash reachable via interface 4, B dash reachable via interface 5? Okay. So it will propagate the information through, so which already I gave explanations. Okay, I will skip here. Please have a look on this. So interconnecting switches, self-learning switches can be connected together. So one switch connected with multiple devices, and like switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, which is happening in our lab 1, lab 2, this is lab 3. All these computers got connected with the S1, S2, S3. So there will be another switch which will connect with all these switches. Okay. So this switch may get connected with it can be used only for a LAN purpose. For if you want to establish only LAN, we need not to have a router. Yeah, switch is itself enough. Router may require, if you want to connect with the outside the world, it's a WAN. So we may require the IP address compatibility on that. But in our lab, college lab, to connect the connection between the main building to academic block 2, academic block 3, assume that this is academic block 1, this is academic block 2, AB3, everything is get connected through a common switch like that. So establishing things, how things are happened. Yeah, the same thing which I told now, it is written over here. Institutional network inside our college campus, how it is working. From the external network, things are happening through a router. What I have explained, the same thing is written here in a graphical way. In our college campus, we are having assumed that mail servers are available. So the router is got connected to the switch inside. Separate mail server is available. Web server is also available inside a college campus. So we are having different IP networks, subnets. When we discussed about the subnet, so this is assume this is for main building. It's for academic block 2, academic block 3. All are colored in a blue colored shaded region. That means all are belongs to a LAN, 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 local area network. The maximum switching devices required to do all those is the switch. But when it comes to the case here in the wireless switches, where the Wi-Fi comes, for a lab physical connectivity, it is fine. But whenever we are going for a wireless LAN, the hotspot have been fixed. The hotspot is actually acting as a router, but this router is configured for connecting between the nodes of each computers with the switch intermediately to connect both. That router is actually helping. In that perspective, the router is helpful here. The same router can be used because it has a capacity of having a routing table, can be used for a purpose of connecting to the WAN also. So that's the idea. The switches versus router, we spend time. So multiple times we discussed, the same thing is written here. Application, any PC, application, transport, network, link layer, physical layer, when it is passing through a switch will have only 2 layers. But after passing through when it is coming to the router will have, you see, data is always originated from application layer only. When I was interacting during the Viva session, many students were telling that the data is originated from the physical layer. No. Then the switch, the connection between one device to the another device initially happens through a physical layer. Then it reaches into the link layer, then it will understand the frame, Based on it will move to the next layer where it has to, some understanding happens over here. What the data packet is, where that packet has to be moved to the next level. All this processing will be done in the switch. Switch is then it is identifying, okay, through ARP, okay, it is getting to know that, okay, it has to be moved to the next level of a router, beyond router. So based on that, it is connecting here. In that way, what we discussed, we can recollect that. Virtual LAN, okay, the virtual local area network. So in our computer lab, move from one to the another lab. So all layers of a broadcasting, ARP, DHCP. So virtually we have to have the private network. It's like a virtual LAN. How it happens? It's port-based virtual LAN are available. The electrical engineering, computer engineering labs. So we can have a local area network in a privately. So we can have a multiple virtual switches. It may not be existing physically, we can have a virtual environment for that. The port-based virtual LAN. Okay. So I am skipping for this part. So I want to spend some time here in the data center networking, yeah, life. Okay. So these topics, I gave enough intro. You please have a look on that. It's for a self-study. So multi-protocol label switching, MPLS, how it works, and how the routing happens from source node to the destination node. The link state algorithm, which you have done implementation on simulation. How many routers are there? How the distance between one router to the next router, how it is calculated, the weight value, shortest distance, the overall cost factor, minimize the cost factor, all those things. Okay. Like many things are there, so we need not to go in depth on all. How the data networks, data center networks are working. You see here is an application perspective, you can get an idea. Load balancer, application layer routing, which will receive the border router. This is the external client request that directs the workload within an area of a data center, returns results to the external client. So request comes from the external internet environment. The other, then assume that all these things are located in one particular area. Maybe in a local area network, or where we got a data center or something. So how the load has to be assigned. For example, one particular task to be done, like in Amazon Web Server, if you take for our case, Amazon Web Server, when we AWS, everyone, you can create your own cloud environment freely. You can see the n number of services over there. They gave the geographical location also. It's a cloud environment. Currently, if you want to perform the action in particular location in a cloud, you can choose the geographical location that. So what will happen is that the task, currently I am located in the India in Coimbatore. If I am choosing some servers nearer to that particular location, that the transaction, the TTL, sorry, the total time delay between transaction between one source to the destination for packet communication, that delay can be reduced. If that delay has been reduced, then overall throughput will increase. The simple idea is that it has to be balanced after loading. A person, he is originated from that particular location, so immediately that particular task has to be assigned into a server where it is located nearer to the source. A person who is living in India or Coimbatore, if any task is assigned, if the same server facility is available to do the task which is expected by the client, for example, Google, the search engine, it has to do a searching. There is the huge mathematical operation which is to be performed related to this particular geographical region. That's why it's the DNS is actually helping in that. Google.com, google.co.in has information on that. So accordingly, the load balancing can happen. So the data center is actually performing this operations. So that is graphically is represented here. Data center networks. Okay, this is the last part of this one. A day in a life scenario. So what happens from in our day-to-day life? What we perform? We may have a laptop at school network, reaching the either college using a laptop. Yeah, we are applying, we are browsing, we are searching, we are typing the google.com. Immediately how we are getting a response? Yes, there is a web server which is hosting the content of google.com that is available to this particular computer via this way. DNS server is giving the information. It is reaching like this. When I access through a browser, the data is going from this web server towards to this particular point. A day in a life, a simple scenario, how we access information. What all the scenarios are there here? This is a LAN, local area network, which got connectivity to the DNS server. It may be in our academic block 2, academic block 3, like that. So in our college, we are having already we discussed about the DNS server. So the DNS server will give the information about, okay, google.com was requested. So where it is actually available. So the DNS server will give the information about. From there, the transaction will be initiated. Some server, all of you please remember during the interaction with the Viva, I came to know that the server is actually very simple. It's a simple program which is running in infinite loop. Web server means the server is running in to cater the requirement. The request comes from the web browser. Application server means a server which is ready to respond for a request comes from any application like app. So we are having two apps or two ways we can access the email through Chrome web browser or application which is already pre-installed. So what type of a protocols actually is being utilized? So this will give you the overall picture on that. So how we are getting a connection to the internet, you see here, initially DHCP, from there how it is moving for the UDP, IP, and Ethernet physical layer, a packet is moving, the router, already we gave explanations. It gave a very nice way of explanation just by I'm showing this one. So it is reaching towards, so that's the way. DHCP is providing the IP address, all those things we discussed. ARP, before DNS, before HTTP, how it works. So it will check for ARP query. Then from the ARP, it will get reply, because we need to know which particular MAC address are going to be used for our transaction. That ARP will come to know. So based on that, that specific hardware will be used to do a routing from one point to another point. Then it is deciding that okay, it has to move towards to this particular path, the DNS server. Wherever you see a computer, something like that, the representation was given on 7 layers. A day in a life, a TCP connection carrying HTTP, a connection of TCP which carrying HTTP. So protocol, in initial case, you have seen that the DNS, domain name service. In the previous case, what is ARP? In before that, a DHCP. DHCP is a application layer protocol, which is initiated from DHCP. For each and every transaction, no, actually all these protocols have been used. That's why I want to emphasize the browser as a end user. We usually used to communicate through a browser. But when we switch on the browser, when we are typing something through a browser, how many transactions is actually happening? First, it has to check with connectivity. DHCP has to be connected. Like then HTTP, ARP, DNS, the dealing of HTTP is initiated from the application layer of the source. So this HTTP part only which you have done is a assignment in the first part, then synchronization, how the acknowledgement happens at the receiver side, request and reply. So extracting the information and showing the content on the browser. Wherever you talk about HTTP, hypertext transfer protocol is something related to the browser based request. And web page finally displayed. So this simulation, all of you please have a look on this, which will give you the idea about when we are typing something google.com in our browser, behind the scene, what are all the actions are happening. Everything is being explained very nicely in a graphical way. All of you, the remaining students, those who are coming for Viva, you please have a look on that, and some interactions can be based on this. So that's about the chapter number 6. So I will stop here for today's class. So having one meeting here now, I think time is also up. So in the next class, we will discuss about the pending part, what all things are there, I will give addressing for that. Thank you all. Any more queries?